The beginning of the story takes place in Huaguo Mountain. A ray of light from the sky shone on the stones. A monkey popped out of it. Stone monkeys are naturally kind. As soon as she was born, she rescued the monkey girl from the wild boar. Little Monkey saw that he was extraordinary. He was advised to go to the Monkey King tryouts. In fact, it is to find the fairy cave behind the waterfall. At this time, a little black man volunteered. As a result, as soon as he jumped, he was rushed out. The stone monkey walks through the waterfall with its athletic body, found the legendary water curtain cave. So the monkeys decided to make him king. But to be the Monkey King is to have the ability to protect everyone. At the suggestion of the old monkey, the stone monkey took a raft to the Xuanzang cave in Faken Mountain, worship under the Bodhi patriarch to learn art. Bodhi ancestor not only named him son Wukong, he also taught him the method of 72 changes and somersault clouds. After completing his studies, Wukong returned to Huaguo Mountain. I happened to encounter the demon king of the mixed world bullying the monkeys. Goku uses the spells of the 3-star cave, subdued the demon king of the mixed world, saved Huaguo Mountain from fire and water again. The old monkey advises Goku to build his own armed forces. The first is to equip the monkeys with weapons. So Wukong went to the Dragon Palace in the East China Sea to ask for weapons. The old Dragon King wanted not to offend this neighbor, ordered someone to give Wukong a big knife. Wukong dislikes it for being too light. The Dragon King sent out another Feng Tian painting halberd, but it still doesn't meet his heart. To pass away this difficult monkey, the old Dragon King's wife suggested, let Wukong go and get the Dinghai God needling iron in the depths of the sea. This will make him retreat. I didn't expect Dinghai Sha needle to resonate with Wukong. After revealing its true colors, it is at the mercy of Goku. Goku was very happy after getting the Rudy Golden Hoop Stick. But the Dragon King and his wife had a bitter face. A good piece of treasure is gone. Madame Long, in order to leave the Dinghai God needle, just ask for the magic needle so that everyone can see for a long time. Then he gave Goku a handsome drape, took advantage of his stinky beauty to put the magic needle under his ass. Happy and forgetful Goku. Sure enough, he forgot about the golden hoop stick. I remembered it when I was about to walk out of the Dragon Palace. As a result, after going back, Miss Long deliberately defaulted on the debt. Wukong ordered the golden hoop stick to become bigger, so the golden rod became larger, straight to the ceiling of the Dragon Lady. Seeing this, the Dragon King immediately apologized to Wukong and promised to give him the golden rod. Wukong then ordered the golden hoop stick to let Lady Dragon go. After the old Dragon King saw him go, the angry one to go to the Jade Emperor to complain. The Jade Emperor was provoked by the Dragon King's oil and vinegar. Plans to send troops to defeat the demon monkeys in Huaguo Mountain. The Platinum Star is to prevent the destruction of living beings. It was suggested that the Jade Emperor summon Sun Wukong to heaven as an official, so that he can help Heavenly Court race horses. One can prevent him from getting into trouble. So the Jade Emperor handed over the matter to Taizong Venus. Taibai came to Huaguo Mountain to find Xiao Hezi. Under the guidance of Brother Monkey, find Sun Wukong. Tell him that he is the will of the Jade Emperor, and he who came to bring him up to heaven as an official. So Wukong followed him to the Heavenly Palace. Taizong Venus led him to the Imperial Horse Prison. Was a title that he couldn't get rid of for a lifetime. Baim Awan, the arrogant and arrogant Ma Tianzhen. Make it difficult for Wukong, who has just ascended to heaven, everywhere. Laid the roots of the future havoc in the Heavenly Palace. Sun Wukong was summoned to the sky by the Taibai Xing. The Jade Emperor named him by Ma Wen to supervise the raising of horses by the Imperial Horse. Goku is very excited to see all kinds of Pigasi. He eagerly took out a Juju red horse to walk the bend. This act took the guards of the Imperial Horse Warden by surprise. Immediately go and report to Ma Tianzhen. The irascible Ma Tianzhen didn't say a word. He raised his whip and whipped it at the red horse. Wukong felt that he was very shameless. Directly knocking down Ma Tianzhen is about to do it. Fortunately, it was too late to pull away from Venus. Ma Tianzhen, on the grounds of violating the rules of heaven, beat the Jujube red horse into the prison. Goku thinks that the fault lies with him and has nothing to do with Pegasus. But Ma Tianzhen didn't pay attention to it at all. Instead, he threw the heavenly rules and precepts to Goku. Let him go back and study hard, under the interpretation of his subordinates. Wukong only then learned. A Pegasus who left the Imperial Horse Prison without permission. All of them will be sent to the prison and punished with extreme shape. After hearing this, Wukong angrily tore the heavenly rules to shreds. The next day, Ma Tianzhen came to the Imperial Horse to interrogate the crime. it was found that the Juju red horse, which should have been dead, was still alive. And he was very irritable. Almost demolished the entire imperial horse prison. His 2 apprentices were able to subdue demons and eliminate demons. At this time, the 2 were having fun outside the city. Bajie accidentally fell into the dye vat, turned into a pink pig, and go to the king. I learned that the king asked the 2 to go to the demon sleigh. And after the deed is completed, I will thank you for it. So Bajie bid farewell to the king and the master, took the sand monk and flew towards the Boyu cave. The yellow-robed monster learned that the 2 of them were rushing to the princess. My heart was full of doubts. At this time too, since Venus was hanging out in the sky. But he still fought with Bajie. In the end, Xuanzang was arrested and Bajie fled. The yellow-robed monster learned after interrogation. It turned out that the princess had leaked the news and was going to escape. Angry, he came directly to the Treasure Elephant Kingdom, transformed into a handsome prince. He told the king. 3 years ago, he rescued a woman from the mouth of a tiger. Naoto only learned today that she was the princess of the Treasure Elephant Kingdom. And the 2 have long been in love. Suddenly found a red horse that had been executed. Today is for the proposed. The king was bewitched by the words of the yellow-robed monster. For a while, I couldn't tell who was telling the truth. At this time, the yellow-robed monster took out the princess's hairpin and turned the letter brought by Tang Sang into a blank, and then framed Tang Sang as a monster, turned him into a tiger with a spell, put it in a cage and ban it. The white dragon horse saw that the master was framed by the goblin. Bajie and Xuanzang did not know where to go. When he hadn't, he relented. So he decided to go and slay the demon himself. The little white dragon turned into its original form and came to the palace. Become a beautiful woman and come to serve the food. And take the initiative to dance the sword to help the fun. While the yellow-robed monster was drinking, a sword stabbed him in the throat. The yellow-robed monster picked up his weapon and fought with the little white dragon in a boutique cartoon. The little white dragon turns back to its original form and fights with it. But in the end, he was wounded and fled back to the Western Channel. At this time, Bajie returned to the Treasure Elephant Country for high-quality cartoons. Goku appears behind him. I found a tiger next to Ryoma. It was only after the little white dragon's explanation that I knew. It turned out that it was the yokai who turned the master into a tiger. Bajie adopted Xiao Zilong's suggestion. After bidding farewell to the master, he went to Huaguo Mountain. Tang Sang left tears of remorse at this time. Bajie came to Huaguo Mountain to find Wukong. He didn't tell him that his master was killed at the first time. Instead, it was Tang Sang who missed him. Not only did he not believe it, but he also planned to teach him a lesson. Ask about the current situation of the Juju red horse.
等一等，等一等，子怡妹妹怎么没有来？她的病还没治好吗？
病倒好了，可王母知道她偷吃仙桃，关进天牢了。
她没说是我齐天大圣给的。
说了有什么用？连你也得进天牢，她怕连累你，说是自己偷的。
王母老太婆，你休想开什么蟠桃会。
Bajie is willing to tell the truth. Told him what happened to Tang Sang recently. Wukong asks Bajie if he has mentioned his name to the goblin. Bajie's eyes rolled, and he came up with a trick. He tells Goku that it's okay not to mention it. The Monkey King Goblin is even more powerful. Wukong listened to the consequences and fell into the radical method of the 8 precepts.
味道不错，有点像花生米，挺脆，有点像开心果。
On the spot, he went with Bajie to save Tang Sang. The 2 rushed directly into the Boyu cave, saved the sand monk and the princess. Tai Baixing stumbled a few words. Then Bajie and Xuanzang returned to the country of Boxiang. Turning into a little demon tells the yellow-robed monster that Sun Wukong is coming. After hearing this, the yellow-robed monster immediately returned to the Boyu cave. But the cave was waiting for him. It's the princess that Goku has become. Wukong took the opportunity to play the whole cards of the yellow-robed monster.
一群废物，几十万兵将被一个猴头打得落花流水。
二爷，玉帝是你的舅舅，他一直看不起你。要是你能露一手，降服猴头，你们的关系不就和解了吗？
不，等他来请我再说。
And swallowed his orbs. The yellow-robed monster that lost its treasure. Gradually not Goku's opponent. So he put Goku in his robe. Goku grabbed his beard directly. Goku uses the golden rod to destroy the robes. The yellow-robed monster ran to the sky in fright. Wukong followed all the way to the South Heavenly Gate. In the Linxiao Treasure Palace, asked the Jade Emperor to search for monsters. At this time, Taizong Venus told the Jade Emperor. After Goku returns to the Treasure Elephant Kingdom.
玉帝有旨，将猴头押上斩妖台。
The spell turned Tang Sang back. Tang Sang also said to Wukong. The four-man squad reunites again and heads west for the Western Channel. The result is when passing by the flat-topped mountain boutique cartoon. That's when I told the truth. I met a goblin with a very thick background. He was ordered by the Jade Emperor to execute the Jujube Red Horse. Wukong only understood it this time. He has been deceived by the people of heaven from the beginning. So he announced on the spot. From then on, he was called Monkey King. Before leaving, Wukong not only taught the heavenly gods a hard lesson, and he also took the opportunity to release all the Pegasi, a galloping horse after being freed from the reins. It seems to imply the emancipation of the old ideas of the last century. Then Wukong returned to Huaguo Mountain. It was followed by many heavenly soldiers and generals. Li Jing ordered the giant spirit god to be the vanguard to fight Sun Wukong. It didn't turn out to be a few rounds. Was beaten by Wukong and fled. Then Li Jing sent Neza to fight. These 2 or 5 boys just came here. I had a hot chat with Goku. So the two fought symbolically for a few rounds. Wukong invited Neza to come to the Water Curtain Cave as a guest. Play until the evening. Neza pretended to be defeated and returned to heaven. Seeing this, Li Jing, a Mengu man, announced the withdrawal of his troops. It is recommended that the Jade Emperor send more soldiers and horses to defeat the demon monkeys. 2 Platinum Star thinks it's better to crown him a Monkey King. He was placed under house arrest in heaven to prevent trouble. So Tazy Venus took Wukong to the sky again. Tell Wukong that the Jade Emperor will crown him as the Monkey King. He also handed over the peach orchard to him to manage. Wukong was very satisfied with the Jade Emperor's arrangement this time. On the spot, he regarded Pantaoyuan as his home. It's hard to get addicted. At this time, the 7 fairies came to pick the fairy peaches. Goku found out that there were only 6 of them. Red Cloak tells Goku that Purple is sick and doesn't come. The warm-hearted Wukong directly sent a fairy peach.
徒儿有难，父岂能坐视不管，袖手旁观。
Let her take it back to treat Z, and promise that all the consequences will be borne by themselves. As a result, this matter was discovered by the Queen Mother's meticulous work. Purple clothes in order not to implicate Wukong.
悟空，我来助你。
师傅，
悟空，
师傅，您来了。
命定难逃此境，这是天意，不必惊慌，为师自有安排。
Told the Queen Mother that it was the peaches she had stolen. On this day, the 7 fairies came to Pantaoyuan. The peaches used in the peach picking club. It turned out that all the peaches on the tree were missing. Goku, in order not to embarrass them, gave them a basket of peaches each. Enraged, Goku pulls out the golden hoop stick, smashed the peach orchard to pieces. Then he broke into Yao Kai, eat and drink in it. After making a big fuss about Yao Kai, the drunk Wukong came to Tushi Palace again. With the strength of wine, Lao Jun's elixir was eaten. After eating the elixir, Wukong smashed the prison again, then returned to Huaguo Mountain.
我是获得星君，我是获得星君。
The Jade Emperor sent Li Jing to lead 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals this time. Plus the 4 heavenly kings went to crusade against Sun Wukong. In front of Goku, the 4 heavenly kings are simply vulnerable.
那妖猴千年修炼，又偷吃了仙丹，法力无边，难以制服。
那依你之见呢？
贫道自有妙计，就交给我去办吧。
玉帝老儿竟敢在生死簿上写我老孙的名字，是何居心？
误会。
In the end, he was beaten and fled. Immediately afterwards, Li Jingken led the army to fight with Wukong. At this time, it was thousands of miles away at the mouth of the Guan River. Erlang God found it with the eyes of heaven. Li Jingken helped Sun Wukong. Had to give the order to withdraw the troops. When the Jade Emperor had a headache about it, Guanyin Bodhisattva came to the Lingxiao Palace, recommended the god Erlang to the Jade Emperor. After the Jade Emperor thought twice, sent Tai Baixing to ask Erlang God to come out of the mountain to help. Erlang God saw that the Jade Emperor's uncle was soft. I promised him to go out of the mountain and subdue the demon monkey. So he first sent the roaring sky dog into the interior of Huaguo Mountain. He faced Goku head-on. Sun Wukong retreated from 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals. The Jade Emperor had no choice but to give up his previous suspicions. Please ask your nephew Erlang to come out of the mountain to help. Airland God chilling roaring dogs into the interior of Huaguo Mountain. Dig into the back of the water curtain cave. It is the weakest point of Sun Wukong's defense. So he decided to bring out Goku first. Have your men attack the monkeys from behind. The next day, Airland God came to Huaguo Mountain to call the formation. Goku didn't fight him directly. Instead, he deliberately ridiculed his mother for going down to Earth privately. Airland God was furious when he heard this. A fierce battle began, because both of them will change 72. His own mana is also very powerful. Therefore, it is difficult to distinguish the winner from the loser for a while.
就凭你也敢来撒野，回去照着镜子称称你几斤几两，是不是你也发疯了啊？
At this time, the roaring dog led people into Huaguo Mountain. Hunt down the monkeys. Wukong saw a fire burning in Huaguo Mountain, only to realize that he had been hit by the plan to transfer the tiger from the mountain. But Airland God didn't let him go back to the rescue at all. The two also started a competition to change the path. Give full play to the mutual restraint. Goku, in order to get rid of Airland God, turned into a temple intent to deceive him. But Airland God is not a fool. Because of the monkey's tail. At a glance, he recognized that this temple was changed by Wukong. Airland God will make a plan. Deliberately turned into a woodcutter.
山贼，现在听我的劝告还不算太晚，不然的话嘛……
不然怎么样？老孙我生来吃葱吃蒜，就是不吃姜。快点走，要不然吃我一棒啊！
Going to take the opportunity to cut off his tail. Wukong can't pretend anymore. I was so frightened that I turned back to my original form. Taizong Liujin saw that Wukong was at a disadvantage. Decided to help Airland God.
30年河东，40年河西，这天庭也该轮到我老孙来做做了。
你有何本领敢出此言？
本领，你听好了，让我老孙来告诉你，想我老孙上天入地无所不能，千变万化啊，一个跟头能翻10万8千里，怎么样？你敢跟我打赌吗？
好，只要能翻出我的手掌，就算你赢。
I saw him throw out a Vajra circle, impartially smashed into the back of Goku's head. Airland God also became famous because of this fight. Wukong was escorted to the Demon Slayer in heaven. There is still no intention of giving in. The Warden summoned to dragons. Transfiguration into an iron chain to bind Goku. When the Monkey King is in trouble. Also deliberately cast spells to trick the Jade Emperor. The Warden immediately ordered Goku's execution. At this time, the Bodhi ancestor came. Patriarch Bodhi gave Wukong the holy light to protect his body. The falling knife didn't hurt him in the slightest.
悟空，此劫实属天意，不可违背。500年后，自当有人救你出去。
The rigid knife is raised and lowered several times. As a result, he was crushed by Wukong. The Overseer ordered the arrows to kill Goku. Hundreds of thousands of heavenly soldiers set up bows and shoot arrows together. Even the stone pillars of the demon-slaying platform were shattered.
金蝉子已去转世投胎，观音
在。
你去东土，教他苦历千山，遍经万水，来我处求取真经。
Goku is still unscathed in the rain of arrows. Lake Gondian couldn't sit still at this time. Plans to lead out the heavenly thunder to kill Wukong. Patriarch Bodhi was worried that his apprentice would not be able to beat him. Then he helped Goku again, under the secret protection of the Master. Goku once again carried the thunderstorm. Seeing this, the Jade Emperor ordered the demon monkey to be burned. Huo Di Xingzhen released a divine fire. It seems to be huge. It turned out to be absorbed by Goku and returned. Taizong Liujin wrote a bull to find the Jade Emperor at this time. After Sun Wukong was mentioned by Erlang Shen Huo, the heavens and immortals have exhausted their means. But he still couldn't get rid of Sun Wukong. Taizong Liujin told the Jade Emperor at this time, "You have a way to subdue the demon monkey." So he took Wukong to Tushi Palace. Put him in the gossip furnace. First released the extremely cold chi to control Wukong. Then he released the 3-flavor true fire and began refining. Dan furnace in the Wukong is refined. The primordial god broke away from the body and came to the underworld. Goku, who came to hell, is still arrogant, riding a bullhead and a horse to the palace of Hades. This Hades is extremely corrupt. When he opened his mouth, he asked Wukong for a toll. As a result, he was educated. Wukong learned from Hades' forced questioning. The reason why I am here. It turned out that it was because he was dead. Wukong was furious when he heard this. Hades took out the Book of Life and Death, which was in charge of life and death. The red circle drawn by the Jade Emperor himself on the name of the Monkey King. The grumpy monkey erased the name, and then destroyed the Book of Life and Death. The original god returned to the Tushi Palace from the underworld. At this time, the 7749th day has arrived. Just when Taishang Laojin was about to open the Dan furnace, an explosion occurred in the Dan furnace. Wukong has developed a pair of fiery eyes. The Tushi Palace was turned upside down. The Green Bull spirit wants to stop Goku. As a result, he was humiliated. Wukong rushed out of the Tushi Palace, was blocked by the heavenly soldiers and generals. With a single move, he knocked them all back. The 4 heavenly kings and the giant spirit god didn't stop Wukong either. Wukong went straight to the Linqiao treasure hall to find the Jade Emperor to report the merits. Turned out to be blocked by Li Jing. Li Jing threw out the Linglong Pagoda and took Wukong in. Goku keeps getting bigger inside the tower. Inon led him to the Laiyan Temple. The Buddha asked Wukong how he would give up. Goku throws himself into a trap completely. He flew into the distance with a somersault cloud. The palm of the hand was also extended and followed. I don't know how long it flew. Looking at the 5 Optimus Prime that appeared in front of him, Wukong thought he had come to the edge of the sky in order to prevent Rulai from not keeping promises. He also wrote on Optimus Prime about his visit. But when he returned to the Laiyan Temple, he found the mark on his finger. Goku feels bad and wants to run away. As a result, he was slapped to the mortal world by Rulai, crushed under the 5 Fingers Mountains. 500 years have passed in the blink of an eye. Every day, Goku dreams of regaining his freedom. According to what the Buddha said, there will be someone who is destined to save him. At this time, in the palace of Chang'an City, Tang Sanzang, reincarnated by the Golden Cicada. He is discussing with the Tang Emperor Li Shimin. Go to the West Heaven Dalai Yin Temple to get the true scriptures. It is used to make up nation to contribute to the country, impress the emperor. Li Shimin not only became a brother with him, he also personally led hundreds of officials to see him off. Meanwhile, Guanyin came to the 5 Elements Mountain to tell Wukong, there is no way to land. I had to use a spell to send him to Goku. Wukong told Tang Sang, it is Guanyin Bodhisattva who ranges himself, waiting here for a monk from the Tang Dynasty. Then he escorted him to the west to learn scriptures. Tang Sang learned that it was Guanyin's arrangement. Only then did he agree to save him. According to Goku's instructions, Tang Sang went to the top of the mountain to find the golden post of the Buddha. The marble mountains are extremely steep. Tang Sang risked his life to climb to the top of the mountain. For the first time, Goku saw someone willing to take a risk for himself. Moved to tears. Finally, the hard work paid off. Tang Sang found the golden post. After some devout prayers, the golden post automatically floated away from the 5 Elements Mountain. Wukong told Tang Sang to hurry away from this place. After some struggle, the marble mountains collapsed. Goku finally regains his freedom. He also kept his promise with the Bodhisattva, officially worshipped Tang Sanzang as a teacher, and escorted him to the west to learn scriptures. Sun Wukong also converted from Taoism to Buddhism. That's when a tiger appeared. Wukong settled the frightened Tang Sang. He took out the golden rod and overwhelmed the tiger. And this tiger can also spell. Turned into a lizard and ran away. Wukong also got a tiger skin skirt for this. After putting it on, Tang Sang called the spirit guy. Yurei wearing more spirit. Goku was very happy to hear this. Began to show off to the master that he can go to heaven and earth. Even carrying him to the West Heaven was just a somersault. But Tang Sang refused. He believed that it was necessary to obtain the scriptures. Have a sincere heart. Step by step, I walked to the western sky. As a result, the master and apprentice have not yet walked 2.5 miles. It was in Eagle's Sora stream that he encountered the first difficulty on the West Heaven road. This dragon is definitely a big injustice. He was originally the 3rd prince of the Dragon King of the West Sea. But now he is a cow and a horse in the heavenly court. Kun was pulling the Jade Emperor on a trip. Accidentally hit a rock. The Jade Emperor was about to order him to be beheaded. Seeing that the little white dragon was about to die in Huangquan, Guanyin Bodhisattva suddenly made a move. Save this unjust dragon. At this time, Tang Sang took Wukong and continued to travel west. A group of robbers take advantage of Goku when he goes out to find water. Planned to sack Tang Sang. Goku returns in time. In the middle of a conversation, they all killed the bandits. Tang Sang was very angry when he saw Wukong killing innocents indiscriminately. Wukong saw that the master was angry and hurriedly stepped forward to admit his mistake. But Tang Sang still ignored him. Goku is not used to him either. Immediately drive away from the clouds. At this time, an old grandmother suddenly appeared. After asking Tang Sang about the reason for the quarrel just now, he gave him a hat that he had begged for from the Buddha. Tell him to put it on for his apprentice. After saying that, the old disappeared. Tang Sang only found out at this time. It turned out that she was changed by Guanyin Bodhisattva. Guanyin told Tang Sang, Goku is stubborn by nature, but his protection is indispensable on the way to learning from the experience. So he gave Tang Sang the method of tightening the spell. After Goku leaves his master, then he came to the Dragon Palace of the East China Sea to relax. Seeing this, the Dragon King asked Goku, why don't you protect the Tang monks from the West Heaven and come to the East China Sea? Wukong told his stomach of grievances. I also plan to return to Wagwo Mountain for retirement. The Dragon King comforts Goku while persuading him to go back, and also told him, his nephew, Little White Dragon, is in eagle sorrow. Maybe Tang Sang will be in danger. So Wukong hurried out of the Dragon Palace, found Tang Sang, who was on the way. Goku's curiosity drives him. Put on the hat given by Guanyin. Seeing this, Tang Sang urged the tightening spell. The painful Goku died and came back to life. Hurriedly admitted his mistake to the master and begged for mercy. At this time, the eagle suddenly jumped out of the stream, and his self-dragon jumped. One bite ate Tang Sang's own horse. An enraged Goku uses a golden hoop stick that has become larger. Turn the eagle's sorrow upside down. Xiao Zilong is not afraid of Wukong, but he was no match. I had to hide deep under a pool. Goku called out the land. It was learned that the Little White Dragon was the son of the Dragon King of the West Sea. He was beheaded for violating the rules of heaven. It was Guanyin who came to his rescue, ordered him to practice in eagle sorrow. So Wukong founded Guanyin. Guanyin promised that he would be busy with the matter. In the end, Xiao Zilong was ignited by Guanyin.
我袈裟，还伤我徒弟，简直是太无理了。
Turned into a self-dragon horse to follow Tang Sang's vision to learn scriptures. Then he gave Goku 3 life-saving hairs. It could save his life in a crisis.
我不打了，我得回去吃饭。
你算什么好汉？才打了半天就要吃饭？当年我被压在五行山下，500年都没有吃过饭。
你就是那大闹天宫的弼马温。
岂有此理！连玉皇大帝都要称我齐天大圣，你这个叫我弼马温？
悟空，
先挨我3棍才准吃饭。
悟空，
啊，师傅，你
吃饭也是大事，就等明天再打吧。说不定他夜里想通了，自己把袈裟送回来。
妖怪收走！你收走！
After seeing Guanyin leave, the master and apprentice continued their journey west to learn the scriptures. Passing by a temple, Tang Sang asked the abbot to stay overnight. The abbot learned that he was from the Tang Dynasty. I asked him if he was carrying a treasure. Wukong, in order not to disgrace the master's face, deliberately used a blindfold to trick the abbot, made him regard a tattered robe as a rare treasure. As a result, because of Goku's recklessness, aroused the old monk's desire to kill people and seize treasures. The master and apprentice duo had to be dealt with that night. This is an old monk who is more than 200 years old and has great temples. He was able to ride a tiger upside down on the Western Channel. He came to a demon cave in the mountains. There are 3 goblins here who are alchemizing. The old monk gave the gift he brought to the black bear spirit. The black bear spirit also gave him an elixir as a gift in return. After the old monk took the elixir, the body suddenly became 100 years younger. After the purpose is achieved, the old monk rode the tiger back to the temple again. The yard was covered with his treasured robes. At this time, Tang monks and apprentices came to the temple. I am going to spend the night here. The old monk saw that outsiders were coming. Immediately replaced the enshrined demons with bodhisattvas.
别说几个和尚道士，就是9天降魔祖师也奈何我不得呀！
哟，你口气倒不小。
跟你说实话，我是天蓬元帅下凡，9天降魔祖师是我的好朋友。
既然是天蓬元帅，怎么变成了这个样子？
还不是投错胎了。
The little monk took advantage of this to tell the old monk. They are eminent monks from the Eastern Tang Dynasty. The old monk asked Tang Sang, carrying the treasures of the Tang Dynasty with incense. Didn't wait for Tang Sang to answer. Wukong told the old monk, Baby is there. I'm afraid you don't know the goods. After speaking, he took out a tattered robe and a high-quality cartoon and put a blindfold on it so that the suit can be like a person. Not only can you worship the Buddha, you can also ring the bell. This stunned the old monk. I suddenly felt that the ones I collected were not fragrant, so I came up with the idea of a robe. He begged Tang Sang to leave the costume behind. Borrow yourself to observe for an evening. Tang Sang couldn't stand the stalking and agreed to him. Who wants the old monk to be more inch? I even wanted to take possession of the robe. So he gathered all the monks in the temple, planned to burn Tang Sang to death at night. And all this is seen through by Goku Western Pinda, the fire lit by the old monk Western Channel, alarmed the black bear spirits in the Batu caves. It was decided to go down the mountain and take advantage of the fire to rob. Wukong conjured a glass cover to protect Tang Sang. He went outside. A strong gust of wind blew. Draw the fire to the monks who set the fire. The black bear spirit took advantage of the chaos to pick up the robe. The old monk saw that Tang Sang was not burned to death. He took the opportunity to escape. Goku chased him all the way to the main hall. Turned out to be the old monk's plot. In the end, he ended up with a bad death. I learned from the mouth of a young monk. The robe was supposed to be stolen by a monster from the Batu caves. Got the black bear monster in the baby robe of the West. Hurriedly showed off to the other two yokai brothers on the Western Channel. And he also plans to feast the world's demons and monsters. Hold a grand Buddha dress party. That's when Goku arrives at Batu caves. The black bear spirit learns that he has come to ask for a dress. Not only did he not give it, but he also fought with Goku. Black bears have a lot of energy. Even Sun Wukong is difficult to parry. At this time, Tang Sang came up the mountain. A distracted Goku is picked up to the sky by a black bear. Tang Sang grabbed the monster. That's when Goku returns. The stick knocked both of them flying. The black bear's spirit knows that he is not an opponent. It turned out that Tang Sang saw that the black bear had infinite energy. I am afraid that Wukong will fight with him.
把唐僧煮成一大锅汤，每人一口，让你们都能长生不老。
Only then did we make an appointment to fight again tomorrow. And also instructed Wukong not to be reckless, but to outwit. Wukong listened to his master's words. He snatched the invitation to the Buddha clothes that the black bear spirit gave to the basilisk. Transform yourself into a white basilisk and go to an appointment with a boutique cartoon. Just when the black bear was about to take out his outfit, the subordinates told him. The little demon who went to deliver the invitation was killed. The black bear spirit guessed that the white basilisk in front of him was fake. Wukong sees his identity exposed, directly changed back to the original form and made a big fuss in the cave. The black bear spirit is on the way to escape. Introduced Goku into the trap. In the end, both the master and apprentice were arrested. Goku uses the life-saving hairs sent by the Bodhisattva to the boutique cartoon. Turn into a little monkey instead of yourself boutique cartoons. Goku, who got out, came to the South China Sea boutique cartoon. Asked Guanyin Bodhisattva to help recapture the pretending to save Tang Sang powder cartoon. The Bodhisattva gave him a gourd of glue. Goku came to the demon cave with the glue turned into a monster. In the name of offering treasure. Send the glue as nectar to the black bear spirit's mouth.
你可真傻，我就是西天来的，那儿有什么好，还不如这儿自在呢。来呀，把唐僧煮成一大锅汤，每人一口，让你们都能长生不老。
In the end, he succeeded in recapturing the outfit and rescuing the master. The two of them also continued westward. In Gao Laozhuang, he joined another partner who learned from experience. Tang monks and apprentices passed by Gao Laozhuang, met many monks and Taoists who were knocked out in boutique cartoons. It turned out that there was a monster in Xuanzang. Every night, he went to harass Guilin, the daughter of Gao Yuanwei. So the senior staff invited the mage to come and catch the demon. As a result, these charlatans are not able to go home. Instead, he was driven out by a yokai. Seeing this, Goku concluded, there must be monsters in the Xuanzang who are causing trouble. The master and apprentice came to the village the next day. In order to make it easier for Goku to deal with yokai, Gao Yuanwei talked about the origin of the monster. One night, 2.5 years ago, a gang of robbers came from the Xuanzang.
这两个笨蛋，告诉你，只有灵吉菩萨那儿才有避风的宝贝呢。
They ransacked Gao Fu and robbed Guilin. At this time, a strong man descended from the sky. 3 punches and 2 kicks knocked out the robbers, in order to repay the grace of saving lives. So they left him on the estate. This man works harder than an animal. It has a big appetite like a pig. The senior official saw that he was hardworking, kind and capable, and he gave him his daughter, betrothed to him. It turned out to be on the wedding day. The bridegroom was drunk too much, turned from a human to a pig demon, and this family affair broke up unhappily. The angry monster saw that Guilin was dead or alive. He used a spell to seal her in the backyard. Goku has a little trick. He broke the spell cast by the monster on the door. In the evening,
为何要包庇这妖精？
大圣，这妖精本是灵山殿下得到的老鼠，因为偷了如来佛祖的灯油，逃到这里变化成妖，所以理应由如来佛祖亲自处置。
Goku comes to the backyard and becomes Magnolia. That's when the Yakai arrived. Goku turned back to his original form and played tricks on him. Bajie knew that he was not by Ma Wen's opponent. Fleeing back to the Cloud Stack Cave, Goku fought him for 300 rounds. Bajie was so frightened that he relented on the spot. Promised not to pester Quilin from now on. The next day, Bajie personally returned the marriage book back with a boutique cartoon. After seeing Goku go, Bajie turned around and found the senior outside. Asked him for 900 taels of silver. It turned out to be all Goku's traps. The pig was subdued again. At this time, Bajie heard Tang Sang talking about learning scriptures from the West. Immediately shouted Master and explained to Tang Sang. He was ordered by Guanyin Bodhisattva, waiting for Tang Sang here. Escort him to the West to learn the scriptures. That's it. Since then, Bajie has joined the family of learning scriptures. The trio went all the way west to the boutique. When passing through Huangfeng town, he was almost wiped out. This is the first monster that Tang Sang encountered on the way to learn scriptures. How did he know that eating Tang monk meat could lead to immortality? The three masters and apprentices came to Huangfengeling for high-quality cartoons.
要妖精帮忙，那得先制服他。
猴哥，你能制服他吗？
没问题，我已经有办法了。
什么办法？
你下水想法把他引上岸，我再抄他后路，把他逮住。
这次该你下水，我抄他后路。
跟你说实话，要是在天上地下跟谁斗我都不怕，可是在水里……二弟，我知道你当过天蓬元帅，水里功夫比我好。
这么说，你也有不如我的地方？
是啊。
好，既然你那么谦虚，我露一手给你瞧瞧。
Suddenly, the sky was blowing with wind and sand. The gourds filled with fresh water were all scratched. Just when Tang Sang was worried, the yellow wine cast a spell to create an oasis in the desert. After Goku discovers a water source in the distance, he asked Bajie to guard the master. Go fetch water yourself. As a result, Bajie found that there was also a lake nearby. So he ignored Tang Sang's dissuasion, and he went and fetched water. Bajie just left. The sky was blowing again with a sandstorm. The yellow-wined monster took the opportunity to capture Tang Sang. When Goku arrives at the place, he discovers that it is a sea market. When I came back, I found that the master was gone. At this time, the two of them knew that they had fallen into the monster's toon tiger and left the pheasant. So I hurried to find the cave of the Yakai. The yellow-wined monster had never seen Tang Sang at all. But he said, that's when they found the only building in the desert. Goku concludes that this must be a Yakai's cave. The yellow-wined monster receives information from his men.
你的水下功夫不如那妖怪，看来这个天蓬元帅是个冒牌货呀！
你小看人，你这该死的弼马温！你去天庭打听打听，哪个不知我天蓬元帅的本领？你等着瞧吧。
So he sent many big rats to attack the two chickens. Wukong fought off the rats and rescued Bajie. Seeing this, the yellow-wined monster cast a spell to create a sandstorm. Blow the two out of 100 miles, buried in deep sand. After repelling Tang Sang's two apprentices, the yellow-wined monster began to show how to cook Tang Sang. Goku in order to deal with the demon wind of the yellow-wined monster. So he turned into a fly and found Tang Sang. Let him help with the weakness of the yellow-wined monster. Tang Sang told the yellow-wined monster not to be happy too early. Two of his own apprentices. I have gone to Guanyin Bodhisattva to borrow a treasure to shelter from the wind.
我拔几根毫毛帮你补一补。
不，还是用我的朱宗吧。
怎么了？
这地方用自己的保险，否则你一不高兴把它收回去，叫我咋办啊？
The yellow-wined monster laughed when he heard this. Goku flew away after achieving his goal. Then he took the 8 precepts to the dojo of Lingji Bodhisattva for help. At this time, the yellow-wined cave was preparing for the cooking of Tang Sang. Goku arrived at this time, almost smashed the demon cave into ruins. The yellow-wined monster hurriedly led people out to meet the battle. But it's about hand-to-hand combat alone. No matter how many rat demons there are, they are no match for Wukong and Bajie. So the yellow-wined monster summoned the army of rats again. As a result, he was defeated and fled by Wukong with a golden hoop stick. I can helped the two of them. The yellow-wined monster used his own unique skills, but this time it was a sandstorm. Can't blow away Wukong and Bajie at all. At this time, the boy of Lingji Bodhisattva appeared in the sky, changed the yellow wind monster back to its original form, just when Goku was going to eliminate harm for the people. A gourd took the yellow wind monster away. Sure enough, you need someone to support you when you come out. Goku was still in the dark at this time. After rescuing Tang Sang, the three continued to travel west. After passing through the great desert of Huangfang Rich Boutique Cartoon, encounter an endless river, again boutique cartoons. After Goku's reconnaissance, it was learned that the west was busy. The river is called the Quicksand River and is 800 miles wide. Just when Tang Sang was worried about how to cross the river, suddenly an old six monster in a ghillie suit pounced on him. This yokai is wearing a chicken suit and a dog on the ground, suddenly stood up and pounced on Tang Sang. Tang monks and apprentices came to the Quicksand River. The river is not only wide, but also very fast. When the three of them were worrying about how to cross the river, suddenly an old six monster pounced on Tang Sang. Fortunately, Goku was clever enough to take the master away. The monster caught the lonely Bajie. After Bajie broke free from the monster, he took up arms and fought him. The two were inseparable in the water. Put the hands of Goku on the shore to see Ichi, so he came down from heaven. A stick knocked the yokai to the bottom of the river. Tang Sang believes that monsters are familiar with water, also very aware of the depth of the river. Maybe ask him to help cross the river. Goku's eyes rolled. So Wukong continued to fool Bajie, trick him into attacking the stone monument on the shore. You can lure out the yokai underwater, but this method didn't lead to yokai.
你们武装观为什么只供天地二字？
不瞒大师傅说，那个天字还值得我们礼拜，地字还受不得我们的香火呢。因为三清四帝、大罗神仙都是我师傅的朋友和晚辈。
猴哥，你中风了？
不，我一听见大话就要昏倒。
你给我到山门前喂马去。
Wukong asked Bajie to pretend to sleep by the water. As a result, the yokai happened to come up from the water. I happened to meet Bajie, who pretended to be asleep. The two began a vicious fight again. Goku didn't rush to make a move this time. Bajie also took the opportunity to lure the enemy deeper. Suddenly, he shot back with a rifle. Hold back the monster to the death. Goku also took the opportunity to make a move, and the monster threw out a string of Buddhist beads, actually shook Goku out of the air. The yokai seized the opportunity and fled back into the water. The angry Bajie blames Goku for being in a hurry, and Wukong also admitted his mistake again and again, and humbly asked Bajie to go into the water, but Bajie didn't want to go. So Wukong resorted to the chicken method. I see.
他们说那果子就是喂驴喂马，也不给那人不像人、猴不像猴的家伙。
他说谁？
除了你，还有谁人不像人、猴不像猴啊？
我看你是想哄我去偷果子。
你不信就算了，我看你是被他们的大话吓怕了。
我怕他们。
不怕？那你怎么把难听的话都咽进肚子里去了？我白认了你这大哥，我肚子饿，想吃个果子都办不到。
After Bajie finished speaking, he went into the water. Use a 9-tooth nail to cut out a waterway boutique cartoon. Directly killed the monster's lair boutique cartoon. But this turtle shell is extremely hard. The yokai hid inside without panic. So Bajie ran to the top and jumped. Stir up the monster and make it difficult to live. As a result, I was accidentally caught. Eventually, he broke his pants and fled to shore. Bajie, who suffered a defeat, was afraid of losing face in front of Wukong. Just said that he and the monster were fighting in the water, and it was dark.
人生活10000年才结30个，闻一下能活360年，吃一个能活48000年。
掉下来的你没捞，那他到哪里去了呢？
If it weren't for the torn pants, I've already caught the yokai ashore. After speaking, Wukong used the hairs of the 8 rings. Repair torn pants. The 3 masters and apprentices were busy for half a day. There is still no way to cross the river. So Wukong decided to go to Guanyin Bodhisattva for help. Let Bajie stay to protect the master. At this time, the monster accidentally found the letter on Bajie's body. It turned out to be a love letter to Quilin. After the monster saw the words Western Heaven scriptures in the letter, angrily tore off the chicken suit on his body. Then he smashed the cave house. Bajie on the shore saw movement in the water. I'm going to go down to the river to fight yokai. But the monster went in the direction of Tang Sang. Bajie hurriedly returned to defense. This time, the yokai had no intention of fighting back. Eventually, they were beaten back into the river. Bajie followed him underwater. Another fight to the death. At this time, Goku brought the rescuers back. After Musa explained, Tang Sang only then understood the reason for the matter. So Wukong used Guanyin's gourd, summoned the Yakai to shore. After Wukong explained the 8 precepts, he stopped. The monster also successfully worshipped Tang Sang as a teacher. Tang Sang named him Sha Monk. In this way, all the members of the scripture learning team assembled. It also crossed the quicksand river smoothly. Then the 4 masters and apprentices came to Wu Cheng'en temple. Because of the gluttony of the 8 precepts, caused Wukong to offend Jin Yuanzi, the ancestors of the earth immortals, almost put the 4 of them in a place of no return. As we all know, journey to the west, except eating Tang monk meat can make you immortal. The same can be said for the ginseng fruit in Wu Cheng'en. Then why do the monsters prefer to make a feud with the Monkey King? I don't even go to the Wu Cheng'en temple, which doesn't even have a gate, to grab a high-quality wine film. On this day, Jin Yuanzi received an invitation from Yuanqi Tianzun.
老先生，只要你放了我师父和师弟，我不会伤害你的。
Invite him to Kunlun Mountain Miluo Palace to discuss. Before leaving, explain to the 2 boys. In the near future, there will be a person named Tang Sang passing by here. When the time comes, he will be treated to 2 ginseng fruits. Jin Yuanzi just left. The 4 Tang monks and apprentices came to Wu Cheng'en temple.
要是3天之内能让我的人参果树复活，我就放了你们师徒4人，还认你做我兄弟。
好，不许赖。
King Feng Mingyu came to the door to inquire and learned. In front of him is the master said that the scripture taker Tang Sang. So he took them into the village. After the Tang monks worshipped the words heaven and earth enshrined in the main hall, my heart was full of puzzles. This errand Wukong is all too familiar. After the 2 boys arranged Tang Sang's residence, I planned to take Jin Jiangzi to beat ginseng fruit to entertain Tang Sang. But all this was heard by Bajie in the kitchen next door. King Feng sent the ginseng fruit to Tang Sang for him to enjoy. But Tang Sang used ginseng to fruit, looks too much like a baby and refuses to take it. This can put the direct rule of the 8 precepts gluttonous outside the door of the Western Channel. The 2 saw that Tang Sang resolutely refused to eat high-quality cartoons. I was thinking about what to do with these 2 fruits. Seeing this, Bajie caught up with the 2 of them in a boutique cartoon, falsely claiming that he was ordered by his master to come to eat high-quality cartoons on his behalf. King Feng Mingyu not only did not agree with the Western frequency, also kicked Bajie out with 1 kick. Bajie refuses to give up, pestered Wukong to get to ginseng fruits to eat.
清风明月，给我打10个果子。今天我要开个人参果会来招待大家，还要和孙大圣结拜为兄弟。
是。
Wukong naturally refuses to be used as a gunman. At this time, Bajie used the chicken method. Wukong really won the chicken method of Bajie. I decided to get some fruit to eat, under the instructions of the 8 commandments. Wukong first took the golden hammer used to pick the fruit, then come to the back mountain, found the ginseng fruit tree. But all the fruit he had plucked fell to the ground and disappeared. Goku thinks that it must have been taken away by the land. So he called out the land and asked for clarification. The land tells Goku, "It's not that I took the ginseng fruit myself." The land told him it was because of the 5 elements. The ginseng fruit is conceived by the spiritual roots of heaven and earth. It will resonate with the 5 elements. After Goku understands the truth, I beat 3 fruits at once and took them away. Enjoy it with 2 other juniors. Then the 2 boys came to inspect the fruit. After finding that there were 4 missing, he found Tang Sang. Thinks he's hypocritical. I don't eat what is delivered to my door. Instead, let the apprentice steal it and eat it. Tang Sang immediately called the 3 apprentices to confront him. But the 3 of them just didn't admit to stealing the fruit. In the end, I saw that Tang Sang was a little angry.
他闯了祸，怕您念紧箍咒，就变这些玩意儿来哄我们。
原来是这样。
Wukong confessed that he had picked 3 fruits, but the boy showed that there were 4 less. Thinks that Goku not only steals the fruit, but also lies. Goku was very angry when he saw that he was scolded as a liar fan cartoon. So in a fit of rage, the spirit went out of body boutique cartoons. When he came to the back mountain, he not only knocked down all the fruits, and also toppled the ginseng fruit tree. When the 2 boys heard the movement, they immediately went to check. Goku takes the opportunity to cast a spell to put the 2 to sleep. Then he left Wu Cheng'en temple with his master. After Jin Yuanzi returned to Wu Cheng'en temple, he was furious when he found that the fruit tree had been toppled. So he took his apprentices to look for Tang Sang and others. Wukong saw that Jin Yuanzi was not good. I planned to strike first to prevent losses. Seeing this, Bajie also came to help Brother Monkey. But the 2 couldn't stop Jin Yuanzi at all. Xuanzang saw that the situation was not good. picked up Tang Sanzang and began to run away. In the end, Zhen Yuanzi put down Bajie with one move, unleashed the great magic power in his sleeve to subdue Wukong, brought all four masters and apprentices back to Wu Zhuang Temple. Wukong, in order not to let the master and brother be punished, took the initiative to accept all the punishments. But he was still unconvinced, actually used a trick to tease Zhen Yuanzi, and also threatened him. Zhen Yuanzi did not panic at all. Not only escaped Wukong's hostages, I am going to give him something real. Wukong also has self-knowledge at this time, began to give in to Zhen Yuanzi, and promised to compensate him for a fruit tree. After that, Wukong went to find a way to heal the fruit tree. Jin Motoko also abides by the agreement with Goku. During these 3 days, he treated his master and brother well.
猴头烈性不改，每当杀错好人，就用障眼法骗人，实在可恶。像他这种屡教不改的，佛法不容，你早就应当把他赶走。
Wukong found the 3 immortals of Fu Lushu at this time, but these 3 claimed to have limited abilities. There is no cure for living ginseng fruit trees, so he suggested that Wukong go to Guanyin Bodhisattva for help. The 3 of them went to Wu Zhuangguan to help Wukong intercede. Asked Zhen Yuanzi for more time. Wukong came to the South China Sea to find the great god of guarding the mountain bridge cartoon. But the great god said that the Bodhisattva did not want to see him in the west. Let him go back and forth from the west of the heart. Solve your own troubles on your own western channel. Wukong, who ate the closed door, returned to Wu Zhuangguan in a fit of anger for the boutique cartoon. Decide to take all the causes and effects yourself.
师傅，猴哥连菩萨也打死了啊！不好了，师傅也气死了。
I just asked Zhen Yuanzi to let go of the master and disciple. Tang Sanzang was willing to let his apprentice take the blame for himself. He personally knelt down to help Wukong intercede. At this time, Guanyin Bodhisattva arrived. Not only helped Wukong intercede, he also rescued the ginseng fruit tree. After Wukong's calamity, I am deeply aware of my own insignificance. From then on, the arrogant Monkey King. It also slowly converged. This young woman, who seems to be as beautiful as a flower, is in the West. In fact, he is an extremely murderous spirit. She wants to be able to stay young and immortal.
我走以后，好好照顾师傅。倘若碰上妖精，就说我是他的大徒弟，妖精就不敢伤害了。
我们是好和尚，才不听你这恶人呢。
师傅体弱，别让他吃生东西，他晚上打坐，当心着凉了。
放心吧，我知道。猴哥，我是开玩笑的，没想到师傅当真赶你走，你别恨我。
八戒，我走之后，你可千万不许懒惰。刚才我没有采到桃子，只找到几个野果，放在师傅的包袱里了。
So I started the idea of a monk. On this day, Tang monks and apprentices passed by the mountain. Wukong was instructed by his master, go and find something to eat for everyone, since the bones have seen their greatest threat to leave. So she became a young girl. In just a few words, he captured the trust of Bajie, then approached Tang Sanzang on the grounds of delivering food. At this time, Goku rushed back. The fiery eyes directly saw through the original form of the monster. But except for Goku, the other 3 didn't believe that the girl in front of them was a fairy. In order to ensure the safety of the master, Goku forcibly beat her to death with a stick. The first plan of the white bone spirit is in vain. Tang Sanzang and Bajie both believed that Wukong killed innocents indiscriminately. They rebuked him one after another. Even if Goku comes up with evidence, the 8 precepts of the ghostly mind, I'd rather believe in a woman than in my own monkey brother. Then Tang Sanzang recited the mantra to punish Wukong. Wukong, who was in pain, had no choice but to admit his mistake to his master. So Tang Sanzang drove Wukong away. In the end, the great cause of learning the scriptures has not yet been completed. Tang Sanzang forgave him. Self-bone spirit in order to get rid of Goku on the Western Channel. This time she was an old woman again. Opened his mouth to ask Tang Sanzang for his daughter Young Pin cartoon. After some inquiries, Wukong tried Young Pin cartoons. The old woman replied that the donkey's mouth was not the horse's mouth. Then Goku finished off her with another stick and boutique cartoon. The bones fled back to the lair in a sweat. This time, Tang Sanzang was furious. It is necessary to drive away this apprentice who kills innocents indiscriminately. So Wukong asked Tang Sanzang to pick up the golden hoop. Tang Sanzang had no choice but to forgive him again. The white bone spirit was very disappointed that he failed to drive away son Wukong. So the third plan was launched. Ordered the little demon to lure Goku away. She turned the owl into an old man, turned the other into dead maidens and old women. Then he became Guanyin Bodhisattva. The White Bone Cave became a temple. At this time, the owl monster came to Tang Sang to pay for his life. Tang Sang arrived very guilty. He obeyed the old man's request. Go to the temple in front of you to chant sutras for the souls of the dead. After Goku gets rid of the entanglement of the little demon, immediately go to Tang Sang to meet. At this time, the three of them had been introduced into the temple that had been turned into a bone cave. Guanyin, who turned from a white bone spirit, reprimanded Tang Sang and punished him for the sins of arson. After hearing this, Tang Sang hurriedly admitted his mistake and repented. At this time, the dead girl and the old woman appeared. The three of them were very happy to learn that they had been resurrected by the Bodhisattva. The white bone spirit told Tang Sang. At this time, the old man quietly closed the door of the western channel. The bone spirit also revealed its original form, intending to start. As a result, at this time, Goku rushed to the western channel. Frightened, he changed back to the western frequencies. But where did she escape from the fiery eyes? Wukong stepped forward and pretended to bow and overturn the white bone spirit. Goku stepped forward and pretended to be in the past, overturning the cartoon of the Self-Bone Essence Bridge. Then he beat the other demons to death with 3 sticks in a row. Tang Sang couldn't bear it anymore at this time Western Channel. Then he recited the mantra to punish Wukong. But Goku still endured the pain to save the master. In the end, a stick solved the Self-Bone Essence. After Goku's explanation, Tang Sang found that the original Bodhisattva had become. The family of 3 also changed back to the original form of the monster. The Guanyin Temple has also been transformed back into a white bone cave. Bajie began to mend the knife at this time. It's not that this is still a trick cast by Wukong. This monkey's inferior nature does not change. Whenever you kill the wrong good person, you use a trick to deceive people. Tang Sang, who is obsessed with ghosts. This time, he was determined to get rid of Goku.
师父中了魔法，徒弟走的走，抓的抓，伤的伤，不如散伙算了，咱们把行李分了。
不，西天没到，不能散伙。
你不走，那我走了。
师兄啊，千万不能走啊！
不走，我一个人能打过妖精吗？
有办法，你快去请大师兄孙悟空来。
Wukong, who was wronged, also decided to leave. Before leaving, he bid farewell to Tang Sang, then instructed the 2 juniors. Goku finished speaking and left with tears in his eyes. As a result, Wukong regretted it as soon as Tang Sang left. Immediately afterwards, he was crazy by the Kuitwood wolf who descended to Earth. It was even turned into a tiger and put in a cage for people to watch. Do you remember the part where Tang Sang turned into a tiger? After Wukong 3 dozen white bone spirits were wrongfully driven away, the West was frequent. Tang Sang is not as good as a day-by-day on the Western Channel. Bajie and Sha Wujing can't count on high-quality cartoons at all. Hungry and cold, he had to look for something to eat. As a result, I came to the Boyu Cave by mistake.
那妖精说：“我才不怕什么狗屁弼马温呢！他要是赶到这儿来的话，我就剥了他的皮，抽了他的筋，啃了他的骨头，吃了他的心。”啊
Fell into the hands of the yellow-robed monster. The 2 came back to find that the master was gone. Through the guidance of the white dragon horse, find the Boyu Cave. But the 2 are not the opponents of the yellow-robed monster at all. The desperate Tang Sang remembered Wukong at this time. And Wukong is also thinking about his master in Huaguo Mountain. At this time, a woman suddenly appeared. She told Tang Sang that she was the princess of the Treasure Elephant Kingdom. 3 years ago, he was caught by the yellow-robed monster. So she rescued Tang Sang. Let him go to the king's father to save himself. And at this time, the Bajie and Sha Wujing outside. Caught by the yellow-robed monster. The princess of Boxiang Kingdom agreed to marry the yellow-robed monster at the price. Begged him to release Bajie and Sha Monk. The yellow-robed monster is a spoiled wife. So he agreed to release the 2. After the reunion of the master and apprentice. All the way to the country of treasure elephants.
刚才张天师在斗牛宫确实抓获了黄袍怪。
那妖精什么来历呀？
他本来是天上的魁星，私自逃到下界去。
家丑不可外扬，这黄袍怪的事你就别管了，回去保唐僧上路。
Gave the princess's distress letter to the king. The king was overjoyed to learn that his daughter, who had disappeared for 3 years, was still alive. So he spent a lot of money to hire someone to rescue the princess. But the generals of the DPRK and China are as timid as mice. They didn't want to go to Boyu Cave to rescue the princess. Tang Sang told the king.
我的儿，你得叫声好听的。
老祖宗，
哎，